Famous bands whose members hated each other. Guns N' Roses. From sacking its original drummer Steven Adler to core member Izzy Stradlin leaving the band, GNR is no stranger to drama. But there's a particular feud that dictated the end, between Axl Rose and Slash. The band became big in the late 80s and then huge in the 90s. And so did Axl's antics, such as showing up ridiculously late to shows. Tensions grew within the band, and it was soon the end. Though against all odds, Guns N' Roses reunited in 2016. Oasis. Sibling rivalry is real, but Liam and Noel Gallagher just took things to a whole different level of animosity. They argued constantly, on and off stage, until they went separate ways. I hope one day I can smash the F out of him with A.F. Rickenbacker right on his nose, and then he does the same to me, Liam once said about his brother. Oasis hasn't reunited to this day. Aerosmith. Joe Perry and Steven Tyler, aka the Toxic Twins, have an amazing musical chemistry, but they're such polar opposite personalities that they've had a love-slash-hate relationship over the years. Sex Pistols. The iconic English punk rock band reunited in 1996, almost 2 decades after Johnny Rotten decided to call it quits. But the previous animosity between bandmates continued. We still hate each other with a vengeance, but we've found a common cause, and that's your money, he said in a press conference. The Pistols frontman didn't even spare the late band member Sid Vicious. Sid was nothing more than an empty coat hanger to fill an empty spot on stage, he said. Smashing Pumpkins. The alternative rock band has had its fair share of drama, with the death of a keyboard player, overdoses, and band members leaving and coming back again. But according to frontman Billy Corgan, the band's guitarist is to blame. The truth of the matter is that guitarist James Iha broke up the Smashing Pumpkins. Not me, not drummer Jimmy Chamberlain, but James. Did it help that bassist Darcy Retzky was fired for being a mean-spirited drug addict who refused to get help? No, that didn't help keep the band together, not at all, said Billy Corgan. The Kinks. Siblings argue, and Ray and Dave Davies are no exception. Ray sucks me dry of ideas, emotions, and creativity, said Dave. Pink Floyd. Growing tensions between David Gilmour and Roger Waters dictated the end of the band, and the beginning of a couple of lawsuits too. The Beach Boys. There were no such thing as good vibrations in the band, especially between Brian Wilson and Mike Love. New Order. As bassist Peter Hook puts it, anyone watching it would think, oh my God, look at them, they've got everything. They've got success, they're faded, what a wonderful world, and yet really we hated each other. Hook, who quit the band, went as far as taking the band to court over a money dispute. The Libertines. The Electric frontmen Pete Doherty and Carl Barat had a love-slash-hate relationship. At one point Doherty even burgled his bandmate's apartment after he was kicked out of the band. Journey. Frontman Steve Perry left, but Journey continued to struggle with the band's musical direction. In 2017, Perry was present when the band was inducted into the Hall of Fame, but they still performed without him. Van Halen. There was always tension between Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth. So much so, that even years later he accused the singer of being childish. Roth's perception of himself is different than who he is in reality. We're not in our 20s anymore. We're in our 60s. Act like you're 60, the late guitarist said. Kiss. Original members Ace Frehley and Peter Criss left the band in the 80s due to clashes with Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Many nasty words have been exchanged between them, with Stanley even accusing them of being racist. Blink-182. Guitarist Tom DeLonge didn't seem to get along with Travis Barker and Mark Hoppus. He left in 2005 and returned in 2009, but their relationship was doomed. In 2015, the band continued without DeLonge. Kings of Leon. Family and alcohol should only mix on special occasions. Make it a constant in a band setting, and things start to deteriorate. Frontman Caleb Followill really ticked off his brothers and cousin with his habit. Metallica. Two former Metallica members were alienated and somehow ostracized by the rest of the band. The first one being guitarist Dave Mustaine, who was sacked. He went on to form Megadeth, so maybe it was a good thing in the end. And the second was Jason Newsted. After the tragic death of bassist Cliff Burton, Newsted had big shoes to fill. The band was grieving and he inadvertently paid for it. The Ramones. Their famous song "The KKK Took My Baby Away" is about guitarist Johnny Ramone stealing singer Joey Ramone's girlfriend. That says something about the relationship between the two, right? Simon and Garfunkel. Art Garfunkel still blames Paul Simon for breaking up the duo. The two couldn't even agree on the songs being released as part of the album Bridge Over Troubled Water. Any subsequent reunions never really lasted long. One Direction. Liam Payne appeared on Logan Paul's podcast in May 2022 and revealed his true feelings about his ex-bandmate, Zayn Malik. Malik left One Direction in 2015, shortly before the group decided to go on hiatus and pursue solo careers. In 2022, Malik split from his longtime girlfriend Gigi Hadid after an altercation where he allegedly pushed her mother into a dresser. Payne told Logan that there are many reasons why I dislike Zayn, adding, "I don't agree with any of his actions. I can't commend some of the things that he's done." However, Payne also expressed his support for the troubled singer, saying, "I'll always, always be on his side." He explained that Malik had a difficult upbringing and seemed to be struggling. "Your only hope is that at some point in their life, the person at the other end of the phone wants to receive the help that you're willing to give them," he finished. Payne also revealed that an unnamed bandmate once instigated a physical confrontation backstage and threw him up against the wall. According to Payne, this wasn't the only occasion that the boys came close to a fistfight.